So about a week ago, I put out a video and I was talking about staging. And I was talking about how it's kind of like the most painful point for a seller's in the listing process and how it takes a lot of time and it can often take a lot of effort. But I also told a success story where if you do commit to the time and you fully invest in the effort, you can absolutely see returns at the closing table of the transaction when you actually sell your home. And I talked about actual dollars worth of investment. And I got a great question that came in response to that video. And it was such a good question that I actually thought I would jump on and answer it for everybody, okay? And the question was, so when staging, is it better to show a cluttered home or a vacant home? And my personal answer to this question is that if I was given those two options only, I would choose a vacant home every single time. And I have a couple reasons why. One, when you show a home that has got very particular tastes, or is a little bit cluttered, or is a little bit messy, you always run the risk of that being incredibly polarizing. All right, some people will look at those homes, look at those pictures, and they'll just be immediately drawn to how messy or how cluttered it is, and that'll be an immediate turnoff. Yeah, there are some of the people that get in there and actually kind of like enjoy that process, and they actually want to get in there and see what they could do to kind of clean it up. But I'll tell you right now, those people are very few and far between. And the last thing we want to do is turn somebody off in the viewing of your listing. With a vacant home, one, you avoid all that. Two, you absolutely showcase the space of the home. Okay, you do give people, like what I talked about in the previous video, you give them the opportunity to visualize their own things and put their own furniture in each room. And ultimately, you want your buyers to want to do that at some point in time. They're going to want to actually get into the home, visualize the home, and visualize themselves and their things living in that home. So a vacant home is much better in that regard. But it's important to remember that not everybody is visual that way. Not everybody has the capability of just walking into a room or looking at a picture and being able to visually put their things into it. Some people need the inspiration. They need that little boost. They need to know what other people have done in that room to give them the options that they can then tweak themselves. And I would choose a vacant home still because of the power of virtual staging. For those of you that don't know, virtual staging is when a graphic designer, or even AI to a certain degree, you upload a picture of an empty room, and the graphic designer or AI can literally get in there and they can put visual representations, digital images of a bed, a dresser, a mirror, decor, pretty much whatever you want that room to be. They can make those images in that picture look exactly like an actual room would look if there was actual things and furniture in that room. And this absolutely achieves the goal of showing people what the intention of the room is, but it's also an incredibly valuable tool in another way. Because you're essentially making that room whatever you want it to be, it's fantastic to use for flex spaces. For example, in one room, it could be a bedroom, it could be an office, it could be a craft room. You have a large open space. It could be a gym, it could be a game room, it could be a media room. Because you're creating these digital images from actual images, you can create all of those rooms and add them to the listing, and people will be able to see all kind of different ideas as they tour the home. One more than another may resonate with them, but it allows you to give those options. I actually did this when I listed my parents' home. They had several flex rooms that could have been used in a multitude of ways. And we actually went in and we took the actual photos and then we virtually staged them in multiple ways, and we actually created large cutouts and put them on easels in the room so that as people did come into the house and tour the home, they could see visual representations of that room multiple different ways. It was incredibly powerful, and we had a lot of success with it. So that is the answer to the question. If it's cluttered or vacant, choose vacant. But at the end of the day, you do want staging in some way. We want to showcase the house in a way that will appease to the most people who take a look at it.